Hey everyone, how's it going? Henry's back. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. Today, we are going to be revisiting Flight Simulator 2020 and see how it is a year later with the Game of the Year edition. So I've already put a few hours into the latest update, and we can definitely see some pros and cons. So we will be talking about if it is worth getting into at this point, if you've been holding off, what I personally think about the sim at this point, and if I am gonna change my initial 7 out of 10 rating. So let's find out what the pros are. A lot of little details have been kind of tweaked with the sim. Most importantly, they added a few new aircraft if you already have the game, obviously. So our first one here is, of course, the good old Cub Crafters with the tricycle configuration. We also have, most importantly, this is what everyone has been waiting for here, we have the F-18. A lot of people are saying, finally, this has been kind of the #1 thing. I can actually do a whole video on this separately, but actually, I think I might do that. We'll add that in here. Also added, of course, the Aviat Pits Special. Very special indeed, and we will get to that in a second. We also have, very importantly, something else that is really cool is the Pilatus PC-6. So, a very widely recognized bush plane out there. It's a beautiful workhorse, of course, Pilatus, making a lot of important planes like the PC-12, we got the PC-6, we got the PC-24, the Jet. And the nice thing is, too, is that they actually give us different variants in the sense that this is a passenger model, but with the G1000, but also if you change it to this guy, you will see they also have the ski and float versions. This guy is more of the good old Steamgate. Little movement here, but it's a cargo variant, so that's kind of cool how they did that. I'm really happy that they added that in. But yeah, so you do have some selection. It's not just one livery that you can't really change. They do have some really nice little liveries that they have going here. And actually, most importantly, something I'm not really interested in, but it shows kind of the direction they're going, is that they added this Volocity aircraft. So it's kind of like a flyable drone. It's basically Volocity. It's kind of like their air taxi concept. It's literally just running off battery power, which of course that is something that I've wanted for a while. I've wanted a battery operated aircraft in here because, again, hydrogen and battery power becoming so huge in aviation. So it's really cool to see that. Again, I know it's a sim, so you're not gonna feel the difference, but again, the other thing is that it's showing that they're starting to work on the background for helicopters. Unfortunately, there isn't any vortex rings or anything you can do at this point yet, but it's kind of cool to see that they are thinking about it, and this is kind of like a nice easy intro to that because it's very, very easy to fly. It's like a drone. Like, you can't, it's not like a real helicopter. Literally, you just push forward, back, left, right, up, down. There's no real skill involved with it. I'll show you in a second here. But yeah, let's hop into the sim for a sec and let's just test out these aircraft. Alright, no better place to test the Hornet than Cold Lake, Alberta. It's pretty much Canada's fighter capital. So as you can see here, the F-18, they did, as usual, a beautiful work on the model. It's the F-18 Elephant version, so the variant. So you're able to see, I always love the cool cowl flaps with the Elephant. It's so cool. But yeah, of course, you have your full deflection of everything. Everything kind of works. The really interesting bit is that the tow bar doesn't really work yet. So this little guy that comes down in the cockpit. Your hook does at this point, and of course some nice engine flare effects here. We'll get into burner in a second here. I believe these work as well. So yeah, as usual, as expected by Microsoft, a great flight model. Now, if you are a veteran to the Flight Simulator series, you know that in FSX they had an F-18 as well. I believe it was kind of like one of the more A or B version, so older, not this version. So this is definitely a step up. Firstly, as you can notice, different cockpit because, of course, we have the more glass design. the autopilot and everything else works here, so you can play around. Obviously, FLIR and electronic warfare, all that stuff doesn't work yet. Or weren't, will not. You do have your you have your TAC and your support pages. Most things don't work, obviously, on the tactical page. So your electronic warfare, your attack radar, your stores, none of that stuff works. But of course, well, this is the page that you get not implemented. So it's just like the old sim. You have your horizontal situation indicator and things like that. So those do work. And of course, if you go to your support page, you do still have your checklist, and of course, you still have your engine page and whatnot. So that's always good info to know. And of course, down here, you do have your main map page. So of course, that works. Obviously, sensors and stuff, you aren't going to have FLIR or anything in the sim. Something cool now is that you can change your bingo fuel. So by rotating this knob, you can see you can set your bingo. So when your RTB is set there, so that's a really cool kind of thing you can play around with. So again, the weapon systems obviously aren't working. This is flight sim, not DCS. If you want a better Hornet model, or if you're more interested in weapons and cool, more dynamic sims, definitely check out the F-18 and DCS. I think I made a video about that before. If not, here's some. Actually, I'll just add it anyway. Here's some cool footage of the F-18 and the sim. You have flares, gun harms. You got the full 9 yards pretty much. But of course, flight sim being a flight sim, it's not really a combat sim, so we do know that there are limitations of what we can do in here. Like I said, you can't really use the launch bar yet, but of course you have your lights, you do have your other things, your emergency brake, things like your FLIR, and, you know, radar, all that stuff. That's just dummy. It's not working at all. Defog system, anti-ice. It's a very mixed match. It's very interesting to see what they've chosen to include and not include. So again, things like the hook, they do work. Look at that beautiful hook, comes down, goes back up. Something else really interesting that they did add, okay, obviously the ECS and jammer and none of that stuff works, but they've actually added the E bracket into the F-18. I'll show you what that is in a Okay, so I just had my first crash to desktop. That's just kidding, of this video recording session. All right, so anyways, as I was trying to say, the cool thing is that they added the E bracket in. So if I just give full military power, so like no burner for takeoff here, we'll just speed up. So what the E bracket is that since the Hornet was initially made to land on carriers and whatnot, you can see that little E floating above it. That's for that's more for landing, but pretty much whenever the gear's down, that helps you show your attitude and speed. There's whole videos describing how to use the E bracket. The actual handling and stuff, not bad. It feels more arcadey. So it's more meant for a casual audience, obviously. Again, if you want a more accurate Hornet, definitely head on over to DCS. But again, it's definitely better than the traditional Hornet from FSX. And again, it, as usual, like in this sim, it looks beautiful, right? And well, it's 10 out of 10, most uncoordinated turn ever. Again, the really cool part is, as usual, the afterburner, of course, looks absolutely beautiful. So again, you do have the full, if your computer can handle it, it does have the full afterburner effects and everything else. I should probably give this a try during nighttime. Let us, 1 second. Boop? Can I just say boop? Yeah, okay. Let's try nighttime burner. So again, oh, I have to hand it to Flight Sim 2020. It's absolutely beautiful. It really is. And again, beautiful effects here. Looks great. Let's just bring it back to military power. Of course, the reflections, bit mapping, everything off the moon, everything else. And again, my computer isn't like the most intense. I'm running a GTX 1060, so but yeah, I mean, like, oh, beautiful. There we go. I'll start off high because we're used to carrier. And is that flaps down? Let's see. Flaps and gear down, rock on. So there's that E bracket again. So basically the indicator on the right shows your airspeed. 1 second. So This is totally not how to do an approach. I just want to get it on here. So again, your usual left indicators from before are there, so we're too fast right now, but your E bracket is basically showing the angle of approach as well as your speed. So pretty much if we're able to... Come on. So we're pretty much slow and high right now. Come on. So right here. Saw how it was perfect? Like right here is like your attitude. Still a little bit slow still. But this is kind of like the attitude that it wants to be able to land. Then when it goes a little bit too low, see how it goes low like that? It's a really cool tool the Hornet has, and it's kind of cool that they have it in game now. Because the Hornet's made to land hard. If you have ever seen it land in real life, like that, the ankle of the gear are totally used to their full extent in real life. It's insane. Anyways, let's have a look at the PC. So here we are in Stewart, a very iconic Canadian airport. Again, really very well done. So again, we have the PC6 here. Again, beautiful liveries that they have here. We're in the cargo variant for today, just to play around with it. Good old steam gauge version. Again, it's a nice little detail here, how they have kind of like everything. They have a full 9 yards animated here. Let's see if I can play around with. Oh yeah, okay. So you still have your prop, and there you go. There we go, brakes off. Let's just see how this baby can go. Can't remember. I think it's a turbo prop, the PC6. I feel like it's something I should have researched beforehand, but it's all good. All good. Let's just have a look at this beautiful aircraft taking off here. Look at that. Let's get those gear. Let's get those flaps up early. Beautiful day here in Stewart. Now, again, no real complaints. Like, it feels cool. I've never been in this in real life for this aircraft. And of course, like we just mentioned before, we can bring our RPM back a little bit here. There you go. Yeah, no complaints. Feels good. Turns fine. Again, one of the iconic things about this plane is definitely the vertical stab right there. Pretty much they just had an extra one of these and they just copied and pasted and just put it up there. It's to save some time and money. And of course, like we said before, they do have the float and ski versions as well as a passenger version. So if you want to do some cross-country flying, I always love aircraft when you can just see the gear right there. It's such a cool feeling. So yeah, again, PC6 works like a charm. I don't have any major issues with it. Again, I don't have any experience with it, but hey, flies around, takes off, it lands, can't complain. And next up is our drone. I mean, air taxi. It's pretty much a drone, again, with all your electric motors. Again, it's cool to have an electric aircraft in a sim. Nothing really changes on the user perspective. But like I said before, it's kind of their foray into playing around with helicopters in the game. Like, I'm not sure if the game engine really technically supports them yet. I think this is just an easy test. Just because, again, if I add some power here, it really is... It's like literally just a drone. So like if you push full forward on the stick, this is me pushing full forward, you can see the aircraft compensating. So literally, it's a 100% fly-by-wire system. This is as fast, and because again, it's based off of like the actual real-life taxi, right? So this is really all you can kind of do. It's interesting how, like, again, the different counter-rotating propellers control the yaw as we're seeing here. But as you can see, it's very restrictive because again, it's made to be used by people without a lot of experience, right? Again, going back to the actual engine itself, you can see that like there's no real vortex stalls. So like no matter how hard you try in the sim right now, you can't really get a stall by the blades and whatnot. So they don't really affect it. So like this is me trying to see if I lose any lift by playing around. But again, it is definitely restrictive. But again, it's the actual quote-unquote aircraft itself. It's more meant as a consumer-friendly product. It's really interesting, the in real life story about this, how literally you're gonna have companies, Uber and whatnot, use this, dispatch this, and you can just ride this to the airport or to Tim Hortons or wherever you're going. It's a really interesting concept. I mean, like, it's literally kind of a flying car in this aspect. Is it something that I really enjoy? Not really. I find it a little bit boring because, again, it's a little bit too easy. But with that being said, for like the general gamer, like for people who aren't really used to helicopters, flights, and things like that, it's a little fun thing. You can play around and hop around the city, and it's kind of cool because you can kind of see them playing around with the helicopters a bit. So hopefully they add a little bit more aerodynamics in there. Until then, let's just enjoy our little drone here and play around with it. Alright, so the other, again, cool thing to have vertical takeoff aircraft now is I can also look around the scenery a lot more. So if you're using more the Google Earth aspect of this sim, you can play around with it. So right now we're in Toronto. I just want to see if they fixed it at all with the recent updates, because again, they did have issues with the CN Tower and everything, and apparently the patch notes that they kind of worked on this area apparently around Toronto Center. So let's just go have a quick look at Toronto. I don't think they've really fixed any Canadian cities yet. They've been doing like America, Great Britain, Germany, all these other places, but it would be nice to have at least Toronto fixed. It looks like they did fix the CN Tower bit. Like, it used to be really weird near the sky deck, but it looks like it's been generally fixed. Yeah, it looks okay. Like, Union Station and stuff. We got CBC. Again, I have everything. I have this area downloaded in high definition, so it should be a little bit better. It's okay. Like, I think it's definitely improved. Like, kudos to the team for, I don't know if they manually went in and fixed the tower, or if they just reconfigured their AI that reads the photogrammetry data, but the tower definitely looks a lot better, because you can actually see the dome bit where the antennas are, and leading up to like the sky deck or whatever, it definitely looks a lot better. So kudos for them for fixing, Air Canada Center, woo, hockey. Kudos for them for fixing that up a bit. Obviously, not perfect, but hey, you have an entire world to look at, so can't complain too much there. Kudos for them for actually fixing the CN Tower finally. And last off, I do want to give another kudos that Microsoft have added more tutorials for those newbies who have questions about flying IFR, what does it mean, speed control, things like that. So good job for them for getting more flight training stuff, as well as activities, you know, like, I'm not huge into like the bush trips and stuff, but it really is kind of cool to see them have more discovery flights, more things to do generally. Like, it would be kind of nice to have the missions like in Flight Sim X, where it's just like, oh, you are working for an airline on this level, oh, do this. I feel like those are coming, but at what cost? Which leads us into our kind of cons section with the update / year one. Let's go into the cons now. Alright, so let's just talk about a few of the cons with the new update. Again, one of the cool things about Microsoft Flight Sim is they Reno Air Races, and they just released their latest DLC. With tax, it's over $80. They're saying, oh, it's only like $500 normally, so you can buy it. Pretty much, you're just buying a whole other video game after spending like almost 200 Canadian. They're asking for another like $80, and what do you get? You get you get 3 or 4 different aircraft. You get the Texan, you get the Mustang. So yeah, you get the L-39, you get the Mustang, you get the Texan, aka Harvard if you're Canadian, and the Pitts. which is weird because you're selling all these different aircraft, but they're all the same. You're just buying different textures is what you're buying for, etc. And I don't think that Reno is worth $80. Hear me out. I think it should be $30, or you get a discount if you have the premium or deluxe versions. Because asking $80 means I don't think there's $80 worth of content here. Because what you're doing is that, yes, it's cool to buy skins for these, but like to charge like almost $15 with tax every single time for a new skin, which basically means that if you want to buy all the skins of the aircraft, everything else normally it'll be like around $500 for just 3 or 4 more airplanes. People make have you seen the amount of user-made skins that have been made for free? 1 second. I literally, I know it's probably licensing. That has to be it. Like the actual aircraft owners are probably going to get a share of the profit. That has to be it. But if you go into, I don't know, it's something that's been around for a while. Let's just say the 172. All right. Look at all these free liveries I have. Not even that. Let's just go to something like what's big. Let's get a 747. Look at all of these. These are free. Okay? So here's the pricing model that I think they should have went with for their Reno Air Race. Again, $30 for Reno. Because it's not worth an entirely new game. I mean, like, I understand that they have to pay for servers, but come on. Okay, so here's my idea. For $30, you get, or $15 if you already have the deluxe or premium, whatever edition. You get your Texans, you get your L-39s, you get your Mustangs, everything else. You get one aircraft, just white, okay? Just white plain livery, one of each. And that's it. All right. So you have the full experience. You can race. It gets the player base up, and everyone can enjoy the new aircraft that buys $30. Then you sell the skins for like $5 extra because everyone's going to have it. So that means you have more of a customer base and you're going to make more money. Because, like, again, I understand that, especially if you follow Reno, you're invested in like these actual real life planes, which is awesome. Like, I think it's cool that they actually have like the real aircraft in here, but I'm not gonna pay $15 for Miss America. I'm sorry. Somebody's gonna make a free skin. Like, what is stopping from people buying the aircraft and then everyone else just making like Miss America or something else for free and just copy and pasting onto that plane? Because I'm not too sure if they like have their own characteristics, which if they do, it's kind of pay to win, but whatever. But to get around this, I'd literally just buy like one of the Harvards or Texans and just wait for people to make the user skins and just, you know, put them on the livery. That's what I would do. Because, like, again, I wouldn't spend $500 on skins. Okay, this has kind of pissed me off a lot. So yeah, like, again, I understand that they have to make money. Okay, I'm gonna end this rant with just saying, you know what? Yeah, it's cool. I think it's cool that they it seems like they've more customized all the planes, so it's kind of cool in that aspect where it's like, yeah, so you can fly the real Voodoo racer. You could become Voodoo for $13. Just do it. And they have their stories and everything. Do they actually have like individual cockpits? Oh, that's cute. I just don't think it's worth over. Yeah, okay, anyways, that's my opinion about that. I have a feeling people will have mixed opinions too, but those are my 2 cents. Let's talk about a few other things. Well, this is nice and relaxing. Let's just do like a little arcade site. Ooh, got some fancy music too. That's nice. Alright, anyways, let's just kind of derp around as we talk for a bit. Let's have a one-on-one here. I hope it doesn't get me copyright strike. I swear there's probably going to be copyright music infringements, but hey, whatever. Yeah, like overall, not bad. I think it's... Alright, let's talk. 1 year. 1 year later, what's changed? They've obviously fixed a lot of things. So again, photogrammetry definitely starting to look better. They have their first kind of like vertical takeoff aircraft in the game. So again, we have the cool air taxi rock and rolling now. We have a lot more marketplace things. They have a lot of they have a lot of world expansions as well, and a lot of cool like things added on. So it's definitely been a lot of free content. We got some beautiful new planes, and of course our little classic ones here. Finally have float planes in. I know when Flight Sim first came out, I was really kind of ticked off they didn't have flight planes to fly around like this. But yeah, we got the PC, we got the new Pilatus aircraft in. But yeah, so besides world updates and other cool little Timbit things that have done some improvements, I won't lie there, but a lot of them are still kind of meh. They have added a lot of cool little Timbits in. So like for flight sightseeing, little cool things like this. As kind of a more experienced player slash IRL pilot, I'd like to see a little bit more. It'd be kind of cool to see a little bit more flight training things involved, and especially like just bug fixing is huge still. So whether if it's choosing to spawn exactly at an altitude, so you still can't really choose that. They do have slew mode now, but it's still not as user friendly as previous iterations and Flight Sim series. It would be nice to see a little bit when they add in the helicopter stuff. It'd be really cool to see them at like the vortex stalling and things like that. Again, it's awesome that they added the Hornet for free. I'm really happy that they added that for the community. I feel that was a real good bonus there. Again, if you are interested in the Hornet and you still haven't got this game, I highly recommend. Again, I don't know how many times I said this, just get the DCS module. It's like $60, $70, so it's pretty much like same price as the base game. Just go get that, and you will have fun blowing stuff up. If you want to have a nice chill experience, definitely come here. Although one of the worst things about this game is the file management and start times. Those have still not improved. So from starting the sim, it takes my computer probably 5 minutes just to load the sim. Like, I understand that it's a lot of back-end stuff that helps load the first flight a lot faster. But like my sim is running perfectly fine, like at 60 frames a second right now. And you can see, like, I have no issue with some moderate graphics as well. So it would be nice to see the initial loading time, as well as the file management system fixed. Because again, it's a real pain in the butt when you start the sim and then there's like a 30 gigabyte mandatory update, which is kind of a kick in the butt if you have horrible Canadian internet, which is like 90% of the country. But whatever, that's just a Henry nitpick. So besides that, there's still a few other things, especially IFR things that they have to fix still after a year in. So again, some of the SIDs and stars in Canada still don't work. So again, like if you're using autopilot, the departures and arrivals don't work. It's only kind of happened to me in Toronto and stuff still. So like coming out of Calgary in a 747, no issues, but trying to land certain stars with the stock Neo, I do have a few autopilot issues with that. But of course the third-party free Neo, it's absolutely fantastic. Get that one if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. But again, the sim itself, like 100% for looking beautiful. You gotta admit, like even I being a skeptic, it looks beautiful, all right? And I'm never gonna say different. It's one of the most beautiful games out there, especially showing off the engine, right? So kudos for the French team for making that happen. Would you look at that? A nice soft landing in Bora Bora. We can go get like a martini or something now. But yeah, overall verdict, will I change my add or subtract anything from my 7 out of 10 review from the first release? I think I'm gonna keep it 7 to 10, you know, because there's been a lot of really good support for the game, but there's still a lot of concerns that have to be addressed. I know people will rather love me or hate me for saying still 7 out of 10, but hey, for somebody who flies a lot in real life and who wants to have a cool training platform, it would be nice to have a lot of bugs and tools fixed still. I know it's still a live service, so don't expect everything to be perfect. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, yeah, there's still room for improvement. You know, personally, for me, this is 7 out of 10. I just want the old toolbar back. I don't want to have dev mode open. I want to be able to have, like, my failures. Oh, that's a big thing. There's no real failures in this game either. The other day, I tried to do an alternator failure in the 40 here, so then I could do my real-life thing for that video. Click here if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, it's very limited. But yeah, here's to another good year. Here's hoping that they keep developing the sim. Let me know what you think below. Do you have any pros, cons? Do you love the sim? Do you hate it? Why? Remember, be kind to each other in the comments. Okay to roast me, just don't roast each other because you guys are all fantastic in your own ways. As always, fly safe, happy landings, and let us know what you want to see in the sim this year below. What new features do you want added in? Let us know. As always, fly safe and see you all later. Goodbye.